Hello, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me. Today's topic is wild camping with a hammock. So if you've ever struggled to find a flat spot for your tent or just fed up with sleeping on the cold hard ground, hammock camping might provide the solution. First thing you'll need is a hammock. Now you don't have to spend a lot of money on a hammock. They can be very expensive. If you look at something like the Hammock Drama 5, this is a lie flat bat wing hammock. Give you a very comfortable night, but does cost quite a bit. Comes with an awning and all the rest of it. This solution here, this is a dual purpose hammock. This gives you the ability to set up on the ground as a tent or hang from a tree. And again, it's quite a flat lie. Both of these rely on the airbed to give you the flat lie, and both of them are very expensive. This hammock cost me less than £15. And I've had it now for a couple of years and I've used it a few times. I've got another hammock I'll be showing you in a second. This is a single person hammock. It came with some straps, which I'm going to need to put up on the to put it up onto the tree. And then the hammock itself is just a length of fabric, and that's all most hammocks are, which is why you don't need to spend a lot on one. So when you're hanging a hammock, what you're looking for is two good solid anchor points, about 12 to 15 feet apart. I'm going to use these two trees here. Make sure that there's nothing overhead that can fall on you and kill you, commonly called widow makers. Make sure there's nothing on the ground that's going to break your back if your hammock collapses. This is all quite clear. But it's not just widow makers and back breakers you need to look out for. Right where I am here, there's a very clear game trail that goes straight between these two trees here. Now, I happen to know this is a very heavily populated area for deer, particularly where I am right now. So the last thing I'm going to do is set up my hammock across one of these game trails. You really don't want an encounter with a 15-stone stag in the middle of the night. The straps, nylon, flat straps, cause less damage to the bark. If you do need to use paracord, put something underneath it to stop it damaging. Generally, they'll come with a loop at one end. I'm going to pass that around the tree, roughly at shoulder height, and then feed the rest of the strap through. Like that. And with the first strap done, I'm just going to repeat the process over here on the second tree. There we go. These straps come with a sliding buckle, so it's simply a case of just hooking the carabiner through the buckle and then doing the same at the other end and then tightening up. This is a single hammock, so I want it fairly tight, otherwise I'm not going to get a flat lie. I'll show you the difference. I'll put the double hammock up in just a second and show you the difference with this one. So what I'm going to do to get this nice and tight is I'm going to lower it down at either end. Might not look like much, but believe it or not, this is going to give me a very good night's sleep. I'm going to turn it round. This one's got a bug net in. I don't want to show that just yet, so I'm just going to turn that round and use just the other side of it. Now you'll see, because I've got the straps quite tight, this is a fairly flat lie. In a moment I'll put the airbed into it and that'll square it up and make it even flatter. Now this is what we call a linear or a parallel lie. I'm in line with the trees. To get a really good flat lie with a hammock that's not designed to lie flat, such as the other two, We're going to use the double hammock and do what's called the diagonal lie. Now for that, the hammock needs to be a lot saggier. Being a double hammock, this one's considerably longer, so we've got more of a sag there. So I've made a few adjustments to it now. I'm fairly happy with the hang. What I was trying to get, if you can see the line from the hammock there, the angle I'm trying to get is approximately the same as my thumb to the tip of my finger. So you can see when I hold my arm out, I've got a rough angle there that matches that. And that's... So here I am in the hammock. Now because this is quite saggy, I am actually bent at quite an angle. To get a flat lie in a double hammock, you have it quite saggy, but then you lie at an angle. So being at an angle like this on the diagonal, a diagonal lie, gives me a much flatter posture. The key to getting a good night's sleep in a hammock is insulation. First of all, insulation from below. Once you sit in it, this thin layer of fabric gives you no protection whatsoever. Any wind coming under here will just draw the heat out of you. So you need to insulate yourself from below. You can use an underquilt. Underquilts are basically sleeping bags that hang below your hammock and trap a warm layer of air between you and this outer skin here and keep you nice and warm that way. Or you could just go for a simple roll mat or airbed like the one I'm using here. Nice thing about using an airbed or even a roll mat is they tend to give a smaller hammock a bit more shape, stop you being compressed sideways, and they generally come with a built-in pillow. The next thing you might want to think about in a location like this where there's a stream just down there is midges. They're starting to build up now. This does come with a built-in midge net, which I can zip up like that. And to make proper use of it, I'd probably want to put a guy line up just to suspend this away from my face. The guy line is just a length of cordage that we use to string up between two trees so that we can hang a tarp from it or something else. A lot of wild campers, myself included, like to have purpose-built, dedicated guy lines, but any length of cord that will reach between the two spots will do. With the guy line up, I can now take a twig and just suspend above net. Away from my face. Like so. And that'll keep the net off my face and the bugs off my face as well. Of course, the other thing that I might want to use a guy line for is keeping off the rain, and we do that by throwing a tarp over it. So the tarp or the rain fly is an absolute essential. Must make sure you put it correctly so it covers both ends of your hammock. And that'll give you more than adequate protection against most of the showers you'll get in the summer or spring here in the UK. And even if you're not looking for somewhere to spend the night, if you've got a hammock and two trees, you'll always have somewhere comfortable just to sit down and have a brew. If you're fortunate enough to have a location like this close to where you live, always try and get out and just test your kit before you actually go on a camp. Nothing worse than finding out your airbed doesn't work or your hammock doesn't take your weight or anything like that. So get out, test your kit before you actually need to rely on it in the wild. Remember the principle of leave no trace. If you're out for a day, an hour, a week, doesn't really matter. Wherever you stop always take a moment, just have a quick look around as you pack up. Make sure you've left nothing behind. There you go, quick and easy guide to wild camping with a hammock. Hope it was useful to you. Hope you found it interesting. If you did, thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.